Asa, we just have a few more minutes, but you wanted to mention something. I know Ahmed Massoud was talking about the British elections. This is something that, of course, you've been covering
Yeah.
for many, many years. And tell us a little bit about what's happening, what's coming up.
Well, we just got a short interview with George Galloway, the leader of a party called the Workers' Party, and of course, George Galloway has been a long-standing lawmaker in various different constituencies over the UK. We will be already known to many of our listeners and viewers. So let's go to that, and then maybe we can explain.
Thank you very much for taking the time.
Pleasure.
How's the campaign going?
Our campaign's going wonderfully. We're going to get hundreds of thousands of votes and we're going to win. I saw a poll just a minute ago which showed that 49% of the British people consider Keir Starmer untrustworthy. I'm asking why the other 51%. So it's the evidence that he's an inveterate liar, deceiver, is so overwhelming. But never, and Tony Blair actually said this in the Telegraph the other day, never will a person have come to office with such a big majority, yet be so unpopular, and so bereft of a programme. So it's inevitable in those circumstances that people will be looking for an alternative. And when they get a serious alternative, chances are they take it.
Well, I've seen projections that this election, the two main parties will garner less of the vote than the hundreds who then since World War One.
For sure.
Is there widespread discontent in the main parties?
Yes, because you're wrong to use the plural. They are one party, in fact. They are a uni party, or as I prefer to put it, two cheeks at the same backside. And everybody knows it. It's not accident that aphorism is my most famous and popular one. People regard both armies as identical, and they're right to do so. If you look at all the big issues, Ukraine, Gaza, the economy, nature, all the major economic issues, they are indistinguishable one from the other, with a slip 6 months between them. When it's already proven in this country and in others like France that these centrist policies are actually incapable of solving the problems that people have.
So is this the beginning of a rebellion? Yeah.
I believe so. And the opinion polls are completely missing it. The fact that Farage is burning up the track is a sign that people are ready to listen to right-wing populist rhetoric. It's our task to get them to listen to left-wing populist rhetoric. That's my job. If I get into Parliament, you'll have left hooks from me, and you'll have right hooks from Farage. You will look forward to that.
On another note, you already mentioned that Gaza and Palestine. How important of an issue is this?
Big issue for millions of people. Not at all of them Muslim. If you look at all the demonstrations, protests, the majority of people there are not Muslim. All the Muslims care about Gaza, and millions of others care about Gaza. So it can take millions out of the Labour vote in the coalition that Corbyn assembled. Then there must be electoral consequences from that.
Yeah, very much for you. Thank you.
Yeah, so an interview there with our colleague Omar Karmi, of course, and as Omar mentioned, there's been this projection by the Financial Times that more people than ever before in this current election, which is tomorrow, as we're live now, will vote for independent candidates, and smaller parties like his party, the Workers' Party, and the Green Party, and that is because for many reasons, as George Galloway said there, Labour and the Conservatives, very similar to, of course, the Democrats and the Republicans, are a kind of uniparty in favour of corporate interests for lots of reasons. But more now than ever before, the issue of Gaza and the Israeli genocide in Gaza has become a real wedge issue that has led people away from the main parties. And we're seeing, a lot of people have kind of learned the lessons from the Corbyn years in the sense that, this issue has become a real an issue that a lot of these candidates are running on, and that they are giving a very serious challenge to the Labour Party in the local constituencies on, and that is why Galloway won in his by-election, what's called a special election in the United States, in February, and we could see him. I think we probably will, not to make too many predictions, but we probably will see him return to Parliament most likely. But the big question, I think, is if his party, the Workers' Party, can gain more seats around the country. I think it's quite possible. One of his candidates, by the way, is Jodie McIntyre in Birmingham, who is a former writer for the Electronic Intifada, who used to report for us a long time ago from the West Bank quite diligently.
Yeah, and I'll just say, George Galloway there referred to Nigel Farage, who heads a right-wing party. I think it's called the Reform Party.
Yeah.
And so again, you have these very similar to what's happening in France. They had the first round of the elections in France over the weekend, and we saw the right-wing National Rally, formerly the National Front, come first, but also saw the left, which is being falsely smeared by the New York Times and others as anti-Semitic, also do very well. I'll just say that it seems to be a foregone conclusion that the Labour Party, led by Keir Starmer, a right-wing, very pro-Israel figure in the Labour Party, is going to win. I mean, it would be a shock if they didn't. But I think the point that Galloway made is he'll be the most unpopular winner, perhaps, in UK history. And the thing to look for will be not who wins overall, because that seems to be a foregone conclusion, but where these independent parties, especially on the left, have made inroads into Labour's base, again, largely in revolt over Labour's support for this genocide. So we'll see what happens. And
a lot. And just one more thing: like, a lot of these independent candidates are people like, of course, Jeremy Corbyn, who has now been, removed from the Labour Party, is running as an independent, and Liane Mohammed, a young Palestinian activist. She's a British Palestinian who is running, and there's also Andrew Feinstein, who's been a guest on our podcast before. These are all running in key seats, which are Wes Streeting, who would be Liane Mohammed's running against Wes Streeting, who's a very right-wing Labour MP, who's very pro-Israel, and Andrew Feinstein is running against Keir Starmer himself. So if he did win, that would be a spectacular upset.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that Palestine is the wedge issue. It should be dividing the left. There's the left, and if you're not with Palestine, you're not on it. And I think that has been a very defining moment.
For years, they made fake anti-Semitism the wedge issue. Fake anti-Semitism, the wedge issue. So real genocide should be the wedge issue.
That's right.
We're not 100%. We're talking about a real genocide here, not the years of lies and fabrications. As fake as the mass rape hoax was the Labour anti-Semitism hoax. And it's all for the same purpose, to serve Israel.
Yeah, and it's all becoming very, very clear. Well, Asa, I know that you'll be maybe reluctantly covering what happens in the British elections this week.
Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit like, leave a comment. These engagements help us with the YouTube algorithm, and it helps us to get around Silicon Valley censorship as much as possible. It does make a difference. You can also support our journalism by going to electronicintifada.net and clicking on Donate Now. Thank you.